had very much in the way of like promoting the Indiegogo. Like maybe if they would have approached a few like if they would have approached a few streamers or did kind of idea set up to like raise the money, like whether it was through like events online or via
Yeah.
marketing via Reddit and whatnot, instead of just kind of I don't know if they were expecting to just throw it out there and people would be like really fast to just throw like $40,000 into the tournament. I mean maybe 2 years ago they would have, but I think that $40,000 goal is it's a little bit ambitious.
Yeah, Paul, your thoughts?
I think Steve's right. I think, unfortunately, because there's been a number of different things over the last 12, 18 months that have perhaps not fulfilled as quickly or even not fulfilled at all their promises on money that's been put in by the community. I think people are a little bit more skeptical, which I think is a shame. But if you look at some of the other models, I mean, Counter-Strike springs to mind in that there have been two $250,000 tournaments already based on what is effectively donations. I know they're not strictly donations in the same way that Indiegogo works, but they are effectively community-funded events for two $250,000 tournaments. So it's possible to do it. I'm just not sure that doing it on Indiegogo is maybe the way to go. I mean, have they approached Blizzard? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if they'd approached Blizzard and said, hey, what would you suggest? Is there anything you can help us with? Is there any marketing? I'm pretty sure the guys at Blizzard would be, thrilled to help these guys out, even if it's just advice on how to do this stuff and get it out there. Or, we find some way that, something to do with Riot and League of Legends works out. I mean, there's two big publishers involved in the games that they're using.
But that can be a bad thing, right? Because
sure, but I don't know if they've actually reached out or not. They may have done, so I'm not criticizing for it, but it would appear that they haven't. And like Steven says, $40,000 is a lot of money to raise. I mean, they've raised $4,000 already, so well
to
done
raise
to them.
without making like a big deal or anything about it at all. They just kind of threw it at the Reddit and then just kind of walked away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, they started the Indiegogo actually a week or two before they even did the Reddit thread. So
yeah, it's been going for 2 weeks already.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't even announce it until now. And just to clarify, guys, I think a lot of people still think that the Rosen brothers, are in charge of all this. They actually took a step back from this year because I think some folks don't realize they joined Blizzard. And so this Lone Star Clash is actually being organized more so from other folks from TESPA, and I think Well Played too is also involved in this. So they haven't actually come into the mix until recently to really help the guys out. So I just want to make sure people are clear on that too. But yeah, a lot of things. I mean, $40,000. I mean, I remember Take really coming on Climbing the Ladder, like probably like a year ago, and really, giving us, being really open and generous with just telling us some of the details, just of operating like Home Story. And $40,000 sound about in the price range of what it takes to run something even like that, maybe even more than that. So a lot of people are wondering like why so much money.
I'm not saying that they don't need that amount of money. I'm just saying that it's a lot of money to put out there in the way that they did it, and just hope that people come along. They're gonna. I think they need more help with marketing and more exposure and. That's why I'm saying maybe if they talked to Blizzard or Riot and said, hey, could you feature us on the front pages of websites or whatever, or anything like that, because like you said, Chris, I'm a big fan of these guys as well. I think it's a great thing that they're doing and have done previously, and I would love to see something like that in Europe work as well, but we have nothing like that. So I want them to work and I want them to do well, but I'm not sure that they've done it in the right way.
Steven?
This is one of those things where I think I think that this might have even been possible, but it almost seems exclusively like it's just a marketing issue. I don't know, when I thought of the first two like Lone Star Clash events, I pictured like the Rosen brothers like running around like doing all their work and like getting their YouTube stuff together, and it felt like it had a face to me. I felt like I really knew what was going on with like the first two Lone Star Clashes. But I don't know, with this one it just seems really I don't know, like I just this feels so much less personal. It sounds like I'm kind of throwing around just a lot of whatever words, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's connected to this one, or like it's gonna be like, I'm sure it'll be great like when they actually launch it, but just like the preliminary feeling is just feels a lot less personal to me.
Yeah, I mean it feels a lot less organized to me. I think that's the biggest thing to me, and
maybe
the actual thread itself, I can see that what you mean by that, just like a little bit less personal. But you know, there was never an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter for any of the other ones prior to this. You know what I mean? And I think most of that has to do with sponsorships have been an issue. I think this year.
Sponsorship, but but it snowballed as well, didn't it? I mean, from that first one onwards. I mean, I've read a couple of stories about how they started out and how difficult it was, and you know, they had no aspiration. Well, I suppose aspiration is the wrong word, but they never thought it would become this big and, you know, have huge players coming along and what have you. So
yeah,
you know, like
it's a good and bad thing.
It did have a very humble kind of old school LAN kind of feel to it, even coming through the screen on it, and yeah.
Oh, do you think they should get back to that? Because I think you're right. I think Lone Star Clash 2 kind of...
That's the roots, right? I mean, that's what it's all about originally. It was all about the colleges, and, you know, we need that too. So, I don't know. I mean, it's up to them what they want to run, isn't it? But if they need 40 grand to help run it, then I'm not entirely sure they're going to get it. And then what happens?
Exactly. Well, they guarantee that the event's still going to happen,
yeah, exactly.
Right? And
they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there are other side effects. Does someone owe that money? What are they going to have to pay out? What do they have to scrape on? They have to skimp on? If they need the 40 grand, then they need the 40 grand, and I'm not going to question them on that. They know better than I do, and I can tell you that, you know, that sounds about right in terms of what it costs to put these things on. But actually, that could be quite cheap too. So, you know, from that point of view, that's okay. But my point is, if they raise 5k, which is what they're on right now, and they're 35 grand short, someone's got to pay for that, or something has to go.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm not completely clear on, because, you know, I think they say in the Reddit thread, without extra funds, our production will essentially consist of projectors and speakers for the audience and a stream with well-played custom streaming system. I mean, isn't that okay? I mean, does that sound terrible to you?
No.
It doesn't, right? So I'm not sure exactly. That's what I mean. Like this whole thing isn't completely clear and as transparent. I think the past.
Like we're gonna raise $40,000, but even if we don't, we're still gonna run just fine. But we'd like, you know,
that's what's confusing about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is confusing. Which is why I'm saying if they only get 5, then they're 35 grand short. Then something has to break.
Right.
Either someone owes 35 grand at the end of this event, even though it goes off without a hitch, but someone's got to be out of pocket somewhere.
Yeah.
Or they cut back on stuff, and then I don't know what gets cut and trimmed, and you know, maybe the tables are made out of paper instead of plastic or something. I don't know. I mean,
no, that's true.
Maybe they're using potatoes for CPUs. And...
Well, you make a good point, Paul. Like it is supposed to be like a college run type of event, and I think after the success of the first one, I think the second one they felt like they had to step it up some more, right? And you know, kudos to the Roses that they were able to pull it off. I mean, it was still at a very small theater like thing that they rented out in Austin, and you know, a lot of I know a lot of casters probably came for pretty cheap. So you know, they were still budgeting.
Lone Star one. Pretty much everyone did it for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I know Sean did it for nothing. So everybody that's thinking like, oh, instead of paying $10,000 for day 9, he didn't get paid jack shit for that event, guys. So
what's the venue that they've chosen for this?
They chose the convention hall.
That's part of the is it free?
No, it's not like that first one where they rented the civic hall type of thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the venue for the first one was free, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was free because the school donated that space, and then that was a neat thing about the first one, is that you kind of figured out a way to figure out how to get some funds from the school.
To leverage all of your
to leverage all of your connections. Pay for some of it. Yeah, so I feel like we've gotten a little bit away from that just because of this pressure
wonder why,
for production.
Because I'm sure renting the venue and getting all the equipment set up in the venue and whatnot is going to be a huge additional cost. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't pursue they're the Texas Esports. Like you'd think that their school would want to be involved in that, provided that there is space open, no?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. They were able to do it the first time.
It could be just depending on the person reviewing it and that sort of thing. But it is great for the students. I mean, all those people, they get immense amount of experience production-wise, organization-wise. I mean, Olivia, I mean, she helps manage the team now, you know, with Axiom, and she started with Tespa, I think. And, you know, just a lot of these people are getting just great experience for future jobs and that sort of thing too. That's why this whole thing is like really, really cool. And I just wish it would remain in the positive light in this community. But you know, this amount of money just seems a little weird, and hopefully it gets straightened out. A lot of this stuff comes together last minute anyways, like with events and particularly these type of events. So you know, overall I think it'll probably go well. It's just worth discussing, though. Definitely worth discussing. And just again, it kind of shows you that the Rosen brothers did a really great job for for the time they were doing it too, and shouldn't be taken for granted. Okay, next up, since you guys are, I don't know, playing or have been playing the new season, let's talk about. Actually, let's talk about the new maps before we talk about the map contest. All right, let's talk about these great new maps that we have on the ladder, which.
Yeah, okay.
All right, what's your favorite map? So they replaced 4 maps this season, which you know, the community, especially we on the show, have been calling for them to kind of have more of a turnaround on maps, and Blizzard's finally doing it. And Paul, I think you have a problem with it, right? Or you're not liking it as much.
No, well, okay. So let me just qualify this, okay? I've had 1.5 days on these new maps, and I don't like any of them. So that's the first problem. But in time, I might get to like 1 or 2 of them, maybe. I can see myself finding some stuff from Bomber or Tasia or someone that's actually playing really well and comes up with some cool stuff, and I probably will just copy their 3 builds, and that'll be it. I'll be fine. Excuse me. But right now, I'm really struggling with them. It feels like the whole game's been reset to me. It's bizarre. I'm doing stuff that I would, not have done in the last map pool, and it's just very frustrating for me. I suppose because I'm a creature of habit when it comes to games, and I get to a point where my practice is directly related to how much I actually practice. So my improvement is directly related to how much I practice. But every time these maps reset, especially when you take 4 out of the map pool, I feel personally screwed because I can't keep up with that level of practice. I need to be able to practice enough to get to a point where I'm okay and I have fun and I enjoy the game. But if you remove 4 of the maps that 3 of which I actually enjoyed, there was one I didn't, Daedalus sucked balls, but that's fine, then I struggle with that. My analogy is this: in Counter-Strike, we've been playing the same maps for 15 years, right?
That's true.
And that's ridiculous. That's the other end of the scale. But what we've just done, in effect, is we've removed Nuke, Inferno, Dust 2, and Train from the map pool, which... if you did that in CS right now, I think you'd get lynched. So yes, I agree that the old map pool wasn't great. There were still 5, possibly even 6 of the maps were okay. So just change 2 of them would be fine, for me personally. The flip side of all this is that actually all 4 maps are smaller than the maps that they've been replaced. So that's actually a good thing. But what the hell is all this like double ramp openings on naturals about? Stop doing that. Seriously, please stop doing that. It frustrates the hell out of me, and I'm sure Destiny's probably just as frustrated. But
he loves the double ramp opening.
Right?
I'm sure.
I was gonna say I actually really like it. I'm
sure he loves
well, what a shock.
I'm not even being sarcastic. I like it. I think the game is getting still as fuck. I like new maps. It makes it interesting. It'll be annoying for a while to work out, I'm sure. It definitely favors aggressive players anytime you have new maps with multiple openings and shit.
It does.
So.
Yeah. And I'm not an aggressive Terran, so it does hurt me quite badly. I try and play passive and react, but that's my downfall. It's not really the map's fault. It's not really the map pool's fault. But what I really would like to see going forward, and this has happened in CS really effectively, is I would love to see people like Destiny, like Todd, like Rhett, people that understand what a map needs to be for a pro player, but also someone that understands what a map needs to be able to do across 3 races and be enjoyable to the viewer at home. That's the 3 core things for me. Sit down with some of these really cool map makers, and I'm not bashing the map makers, by the way, because they do a great job and they rarely get any credit for it, and we're always bashing their maps. But they aren't necessarily pro players, and they don't understand the pro level of playing. And I kind of get the feeling that they're actually on my level sometimes, which is probably a really bad thing. So I would love for them to, some of these really good map creators, to get together with some of the top pros, or even the guys who really care about what a map does and how it works. People that are really smart, like Todd, and maybe push together and make a map between them. We've seen Volcano do that with
I don't know about that. Actually,
I'm gonna completely 180 on you there, because I think that I'm speaking out because I'm sure there are probably a lot of map makers out there right now who are like absolutely killing the screen at what you just said.
Pissed
I think
off.
that map makers for the most part actually want to have more varied and different and interesting and new maps, but it's actually the pro players that make it so that most of that it isn't possible, because anytime a map is presented that falls outside of the orthodox, the way that maps are set up, then everybody complains like, oh, like this ramp is too big, or this is some bullshit, or I can't do this, or this is bullshit, or this has to be here, or this has to be here. Because as pro gamers, a lot of pro gamers have kind of like fallen into the like all maps must exist under this paradigm fucking period, and nothing outside of that can ever happen. And if it does, then people flip shit. I think that for the most part, I think that map makers have a lot of cool ideas, and there are a lot of map makers. If you follow the Team Liquid threads, or if you occasionally they post them on Reddit, there's a lot of map makers that post a lot of pretty interesting maps. But I think that pro gamers personally are the worst people in the world to consult when it comes to making good maps, or even for like game discussion or game balance. Like, there's a reason why Blizzard closed the pro gamer feedback thread for balance in Heart of the Storm. Pro gamers are they're notoriously fucking biased. And I mean, I would expect them to be.
And I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about the people that are able to, separate, what they want in a map for them personally in their race to someone who can actually look at the game overall.
Yeah,
and there are some pro players that can do that.
There definitely are some. There definitely are some, but it's definitely the very little minority. There has to be somebody responsible in charge of picking out who's good enough to like decide. Like this guy is actually like can give us some decent advice, and this guy is just like somebody who's just going to be completely fucking biased towards everything that he could possibly say.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, let's not get Todd to do it, because we'll end up with 7 Protoss maps.
Well,
Protoss players in general probably aren't qualified. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's talk about them. Let's go through them one by one, because there's only 4 of them, right? So let's just go through them.
Yeah, only 4.
So
only 60% of the map pool.
Only 60% of the map pool. Okay, so what was removed was Polar Knight, Yonsu,
what was wrong with that?
Point. I know, Polar Knight, and then Heavy Rain. But okay, so King Sejong Station. All right, what do you guys think of this? It's obviously a 2-player map.
Yeah.
And this is the one with the double ramp. This is the one you were talking about, basically, to the natural right here.
Other than that, it's okay. I mean, I've only played it a couple of times on ladder. I got absolutely wasted by 2 Zergs, so I don't know. Seems like, a bit like Steven said earlier, it's like early maps in the pool, and this is only really the 3rd season I've really played early maps, tend to favor really aggressive players, and when you play a Zerg at my level, you're going to get destroyed when you've got such an open base like that. So I haven't really enjoyed it too much yet.
Yeah. Steven, what do you think?
Somebody in chat said that Todd would create 7 air-conditioned maps.
No, he would create 7 Cloud Kingdoms.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
For this map, I don't like this for ZVP a lot. Fuck Protoss. I've only ever played Zergs on the map though, but I mean, from looking at it from a ZVP perspective, like all the ramps walking through the base, like it seems like you could get fucked pretty hard. But yeah. But I mean, like I said, I've only ever played CVZs on it. ZVT seemed like it would be like any other map.
What don't you like about ZVP?
Well, just like look at for the bottom. Look at the bottom right base, right?
Okay.
Like if a Protoss were to like walk to like that kind of 3rd/4th area that's on the ramp, like connecting your natural, like it seems like it would be really easy to park Colossus up there and to just like move back and forth between those 2 ramps and just fuck everything up at your natural, and you'd be like super boned,
Okay. I mean, it's a pretty short distance boat. Like, I guess there is that chasm there, but yeah, I think a Colossus would definitely have a good range. You can't really get to their main very easily too.
Yeah, and then also like an attack through those rocks, like if you blow the rocks up, like an attack through back there, like it's super fucking choked off. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a map where you would have to go air or do like a really, really quick thing.
Can you park?
There is only one bonus about this map, as far as I'm concerned, and that's the fact that you don't have to scout out their position. So that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's such a small, it's a tiny map, though, man. Can you
really
park?
All you're doing is scan for proxies, which is great.
Can you park tanks on the ridges on the bottom left and the top right?
No, I'm not sure.
Can you drop tanks and siege them up right there?
Yeah.
What I'm actually curious, can you siege tanks and hit the natural from over the chasm? There's no way, right?
Oh wow.
I don't know. I didn't get that far. Maybe.
I think you can't.
Yeah.
It looks.
There's no way.
Dude.
There's no way, right?
Really?
It looks like you'd be able to.
Try it.
It looks like you'd be able to.
Okay, new strat.
So that means one Colossus can hit both too, right? Just stands over there and just killing 2 mineralites.
They probably fit 3 in there.
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, next up we got Overgrowth. Okay, so I haven't gotten a good chance to look at this one. This one seems a little bit more similar to the ones that we have, except for there's a lot more channels within the middle of the map, you know, like little thin walkways and stuff like that. What do you guys think of this one?
Stuff. Overgrowth in the middle.
Yes, Overgrowth.
I actually haven't played this one yet.
Okay.
I've looked at it.
I've played a few on this. I think this is an okay map. I don't mind it. I've played some CVPs. I've played some CVPs.
Yeah.
Was it quite
seems
small, Stephen? Was it quite
no,
small?
it feels pretty. It feels biggish to me, medium size. It doesn't feel very small to me. I don't think it's very small.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So not bad. All right. So next one, Merry-Go-Round. I know this is ReDeYe's favorite.
Holy shit. Just I don't know.
Steven, thoughts? I can't even talk. That's how good it is.
Oh, I've never gotten to playing this one before. Maybe everybody downvoted
I
it or
can't
whatever.
wait. Can we tune back in next week and get you to review this map when you've played it twice and been absolutely slaughtered on it?
I don't know. Maybe everybody might have thumbs it down or whatever, so that I don't get it. I haven't played on this one yet.
I don't know. Seriously, I had quite a few games on this today, and they're all frustrating. Nothing works for me on this map at all. It's gonna need someone clever, way cleverer than me, to come up with something that really works for a Terran on this map, because I don't know. I mean, Zergs were usually quite aggressive, and I pretty much didn't get out of my natural. And then Protoss, I don't even think I got into my natural. It doesn't work at all for me. It just doesn't work on any level. But that's not to say it might end up being a really good map.
So it's a 3-man map, right? So
it is a 3-player map, yeah.
That's kind of how many 3-player maps have we had? Have we ever had 3-player maps? Steven, have we had 3-player maps ever in StarCraft 2?
Rush Hour 2? in StarCraft 2, I don't know.
Oh, did I say Rush Hour 2? I mean StarCraft 2. Did I say Rush Hour 2?
No,
did I seriously say that?
No, he did.
Oh my god.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Wait, wasn't the name of that one in Brood War? Wasn't that map called Rush Hour? Or am I crazy?
Oh, I know. Maybe in Brood War.
Three-player map in Brood War?
What about hold on a second. What about StarCraft 2 though?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Test Bud.
Test Bud? Oh, Test Bud was the name of it?
Test Bug. Test Bug was awesome. You don't remember that map?
Oh, Test Bug. I remember Test Bug.
That's the one where Idra left against MMA. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember. It had the different colored sections of the map, right?
Yeah.
In the gold mine. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That was like one of the very, very few. So definitely this whole 3-player thing is a new thing when it comes to 1v1. So what don't you like about it, Paul?
I probably need to learn to play mech better, and then it would probably be okay, because I think it could be quite good for mech. But as a Bioterran, no, it's atrocious for me.
all these pro guys are.
You just can't get out. I can't get out. Honestly, I cannot get out of 2 base.
You know what's funny is like all these pro guys are like messaging me right now. I could talk about it, but it's actually nice to get kind of like more of a casual player's view on this too. I mean, I'm serious, right?
Wow, thanks.
It's one day as well.
No, I'm talking about Paul.
No, fuck you. I know what you're talking about, Sherman.
Like casual Mr. Ranked top 50 GM.
No, I mean, I've played them for a day and a half. I haven't played all of the maps either, and I'm very lowly ranked, and I play a very, very turtle kind of Terran style. So
I'm gonna have to try it out.
It's not the best. I'm not the best person to be asked about this, but if you want an opinion, I'll give you.
Yeah, I wish the authors of the maps were listed here. Jeez.
Right, so you could just go and flame them.
No, if it was made by the mapping community, it'd be nice to know. Okay, so the next one we got is Way Station.
Yeah.
Where are the starting spots here? Are there 4 starting spots or?
There are 4, yeah.
Okay.
It's their
oh, this is the one with the
always.
island. This is the one.
I've always spawned opposites so far, anyway. So I'm pretty sure they do. I think it's like 5 and 7 and 1 and 11. No, 11 and 5, 1 and 7.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I've started at 11 every time I've played it so far. So I don't know.
So isn't it is it an advantage to have the ones with the islands next to it?
I would say so.
Right? I mean, it's got to be, right? Like if you're playing Terran, holy shit, that's huge.
But then you also So if I was, because I looked at the map before and I was like, oh, that'd be quite. If I spawn at 1 or 7, I'd be quite happy. And so far, I spawned at 11 in every game I played on it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a bug. I wouldn't have thought so. I'm pretty sure there are 4 spawn points, but
I haven't played on this map either. What the fuck?
Dude, what the hell, man?
This map looks awesome.
This map looks pretty interesting. I feel like it is
I mean,
I feel like it's an 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock spawn. That's
now if they could just make the island bases gold bases.
Yeah, it's 11. It's 11 and 5, 1 and 7.
Wow, that's
and
so weird.
I swear
that's
to God,
a huge difference.
If I was spawned at 1 or 7, I was just gonna go 1 racks, fast expand, get out of there, go and destroy them.
I mean, it's really bad too. I mean, you just prop tanks up
so
there and it's over, man.
What if they make it so that your opponent's spawn is like always mirrored to yours? So,
yeah,
like,
that would be better.
I think it is.
Okay.
No, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is mirrored.
Crazy.
Okay, that's good.
Well, it's always been mirrored for me. So they've always spawned at 5 for me.
Oh my god! Can the tanks reach the natural? Oh my gosh! From the island. Are we gonna get back to that? Are we gonna get back to Lost Temple again? I mean, what the fuck?
No, this is gonna be fine. I like this map. It's gonna be fine.
It looks interesting though. I definitely, this is definitely a map I want to actually play some. Looks cool. But all right, Steven, you haven't played it, so we're gonna have to talk about it again next time. Shit. Okay, but there is gonna be another Team Liquid map contest, number 4, which let me get the website here real quick for everybody to take a look at. You know, I think it's been a really good initiative from Team Liquid. You know, I think the past 2 or 3 have been really good. I mean, I think a lot of great maps have come from it. Even the first one too. I don't know why I left the first one off of there too, but all of them have been really great. And you know, hope all the map makers continue to submit for it and get their maps shown. That's why I wish we could see the authors. You know, like have these folks.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they should be getting some exposure from it. To be honest.
Yeah. You can see my show notes there, guys, for a second. So, yeah. So, anyways, here's the map contest, and it was run by Plexa, I think, in the past. I'm not sure if he still runs it or not, but he's been doing a really great job with it. And the judging, it's not an easy process too to do this. You know, to really, I guess, to really procure all the maps and then put them in front of us and then tell all the stats and all that good stuff. It's not easy what they do, so it's really cool. And Blizzard seems to be receptive upon just the winners from these. So what are the prizes this time around? Let me see. At the moment, they never give for sure that they're going to be on the ladder, but for the most part they have been on the ladder. So I don't know why they can't guarantee that.
I don't think they can give a guarantee. No, I don't think they can.
It'd be nice if they could get like a little cash prize too. I mean, stuff like this. I mean, we should totally incentivize this stuff. What?
Yeah. As much as I bash some of the maps, it's great that it's got such an active map making community, and I like the fact that we do replace lots of maps. I'm just, as a player, I'm really frustrated by it, but for the shows and for the fact that you actually get to watch some really cool strategies that evolve, I think it's great. Yeah,
absolutely. And the maps...
I think that...
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I think there should be I think you should shift your mentality on that a little bit. I think you would have more fun. I used to be like that a long time ago, where like I liked to have every map that was the exact same, and then like if a new map comes around, it's like, God damn it, like, and I play passively too, so like I agree, where it's like, oh my God, like this defense always used to fucking work, but now because the map is closer, the stupid map, he can get to the base before that wall is finished, and now I'm fucking dead. This is so stupid. Like, you know, like I totally 100% used to, I agree with that, or I used to think like that a lot, but now it's like I like jumping on maps, and now like for the first like 5 minutes of the game, you can actually like, and this isn't supposed to sound insulting, but you can engage your mind a little bit. Like, holy shit, okay, well, like normally I would always open up with a 15 hedger, but it's actually not that safe to do it. Like, I'll do a 14 guess 13 well, like you can actually like the beginning of a game can be a little bit more interesting if you approach every map with a mentality that, oh, like this is actually like a little bit different than what I'm used to playing on, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's just limited amount. I play very casually as well, so
sure.
I have very limited amount of time to have some fun, and I get fun from knowing what I'm doing when I'm out on a map like that. Sure, it's fun and exciting, but it's really frustrating as well because you're just getting creamed by guys that have already figured the map out or who are much better than you. So.
What rank are you right now, or what?
Silver right now.
Oh, silver. Okay. Just try all kinds of crazy shit. That's
I'm
like when stuff first comes
I
out, I would just do crazy shit just to try everything out, right? And so what? You dropped the bronze, dude. Who cares?
Yeah,
You just give it back
no,
to
it's not even about that. It's
Yeah.
I was as high as gold, and I thought I was going to be in platinum at one point, but it's not even about that. It's more about, I've got a couple of hours to kill. I want to play the game because I'm a fan and I want to play it. But then new maps make it like I actually like Stephen hit the nail on the head. I have to think about playing. I'm in the mode where actually I just want to have some fun and mess around. And I'm still competitive, unfortunately. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let me link the let me give you guys the link to the map contest in case you guys are map makers and want to enter this. And I encourage you guys again to enter it. But all right, let's move on. I don't really have the topic listed here, but it was a topic I did want to discuss, and it's gonna kind of use the QA, but I think it deserves its own topic. And it's pretty much about the whole mass banning that we've seen, in terms of on gamer, right? Just pretty much banned from all the subreddits, and I guess the topic is really how, I guess we should talk about just how dependent upon Reddit I think a lot of esports events and organizations and the promotion of them are these days. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on what you think. Even Steven, just even for streamers and for people like me, it's I don't know. I feel like it's a big thing. It's a big arena that we have to understand. And we have to actually utilize, to properly promote our things. So, Paul, let me get your opinion first, given that you work for a larger organization. How much do you rely on Reddit right now?
It's part of our strategy. I won't lie, but it's not something we rely on for traffic or for promotion. We're very fortunate in that we've built all of our social media properties up to pretty high levels. We have access to more than 500,000 people across all of our channels and different formats. So, if we lost Reddit tomorrow, then we lost Reddit. I mean, whatever. But I do feel a little bit annoyed that Reddit are starting to clamp down on that stuff. I mean, isn't the point of the website to share cool stuff? Mm-hmm. So, we rarely put our own stuff on Reddit. It's the community that put the stuff on Reddit. I mean, we put stuff out on Twitter. That's where most stuff gets found first. It's not Reddit. So, if Reddit are sitting there thinking, yeah, we're the hub of everything and we're the place you come to first to learn about it. No, you're not. Get real. It's Twitter. Twitter is instant. And that's where we get the majority of the people interacting and sharing stuff. And then it appears on Reddit. So, yeah, I feel like it's a bit of you scratch our backs and we'll scratch yours, and you get access to cool content which makes you more popular and makes your subreddit more popular, and we get more traffic from it. So doesn't everyone win? I just feel like if you end up banning a load of legitimate websites that produce great content that needs to be shared with other people, I don't understand what Reddit's about anymore. Is it just for the exclusive elitist people that share stuff that isn't on a popular website anymore? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally people would agree with that. I think the main issue with just kind of watching some of the discussions and discussions I've had with other people is that these subreddits and these admins, they don't seem to answer to anybody. You know what I mean? Like they seem to make judgment calls, and when you have like a site-wide ban like On Gamers had, that's kind of something totally different, right? But when you're talking about like a specific subreddit, I mean, it just seems to be like these few guys make a decision on all of it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Thankfully, like in StarCraft 2, I don't think it's been that big of an issue, just because that a lot of folks are really in tune with the community and they kind of make judgments based on that. But there are some that I know are much different than that, and it's a lot more difficult.
But look at the popularity of almost all of the subreddits that are to do with gaming. They're nearly, they're amongst the biggest on Reddit at all. I mean, League of Legends is absolutely huge. StarCraft's huge. CS is growing like crazy. Dota's big. All of them are really big, and they're all gaming and esports driven. And Reddit should just understand that and should be, pleased that we're bringing them a ton of traffic. Because if everyone says, well, okay, screw you, Reddit, we're going to go and make our own community site for sharing stuff, then what do they do then? Do they die like Dig did?
But that's the thing. It's gone completely
It never
away from
happened.
that.
Bullshit. It happened. Dig used to be that place. It's not anymore.
Yeah, but Dig died completely. Like, Dig is nothing now. I don't think it was just because people that did gaming
Dig's
left
not
Dig. Like
dead.
there's a whole bunch
Dig
of.
is still there. I mean,
Sure,
Well,
it
compared
wasn't
to
just
former,
game.
I mean, MySpace isn't dead.
okay.
Okay, so here's the counter view to that, and I'm not saying there's a right or wrong here, but I can definitely understand the conundrum that Reddit is in. Reddit is a website that aggregates links that people find interesting across the internet. People go to it, they upvote what they like, blah blah blah, and that's kind of it. Like it's an innocent, fun place to hang out. As of the past like year and a half, 2 years, Reddit has turned into like a pretty fucking big deal. Like it's gotten big enough that like major news corporations are starting to like steal like comments and shit from people for like broadcasts. Like Reddit has turned into something where if you are leveraged correctly on it, if you have like the right post at the right time in the right subreddit, there are potentially thousands of dollars that you can make, right?
Yep.
For instance, for the League of Legends subreddit, there's a guy that makes YouTube videos called Sky, right?
Yeah, Sky.
Um,
Everybody knows.
funny guy, funny videos and whatnot.
Bit of a spazzy.
No. He's
kind
like
of a
black,
riot guy now, actually.
He's a black gay dude. Black gay dude.
Yeah.
Funny as fuck. But he's got 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. The first video that he posted on the League of Legends subreddit went viral and he got 500,000 views on it, right? So he's making six-figure income on YouTube now, pretty much because of advertising on Reddit. Right, like that was pretty much it. He advertised on Reddit. He probably wouldn't have gotten the same traction the way that via Twitter, because Twitter doesn't really work the same way that Reddit does. I understand that Twitter can be really good to promote stuff if you've already got an audience. Like I post to my 30,000 people, like bam, they see it. But how do I reach out to an audience that's never heard of me before? You know, I could beg Total Biscuit for retweets, but I mean, people don't really give a fuck about retweets as much. Whereas when you got something like Reddit, like here's a subreddit where we go to the League of Legends .reddit.com. Okay, I can go to a subreddit that has 470,000 subscribers, right? Awesome. So that's 470,000 people that stuff pops up for them. There are 15,000 people right now with their eyes on the front page. If I can get content up there, it's literally cash money. It's money in my pocket. I've got a YouTube channel that pays me for advertising. So if I can get content onto that page, then I get fucking paid. It's money. Like it's really good. It's easy. It's fast. It's quick. And it's real. It's very real money. So what Reddit has started to run into problems with lately is that there are people who realize there's actually real money to be made on Reddit now, like 6-7 figures depending on the organization. Real big money that can be made on Reddit if you can push enough content to the correct subreddits and manipulate the voting algorithms in ways that your content is always at the front page. If you look at some of the bigger subreddits, you go to like politics or news or world news, there were people that had like millions of karma that would spam these links out to different articles, and there are people in the background who have different accounts that will upvote different articles in such a way that they'll always get to the front page and whatnot. And all of these different people, all of them manipulating Reddit in their own ways to all push their agenda, are all making fuck tons of money doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like whenever money becomes involved, like everything becomes so much more serious. So in looking at all of the ways that people manipulate how they get their content to the front page on Reddit, all of that kind of trickles down to like where the gamer people are. Even though some of the gaming subreddits on Reddit are pretty big, we're not actually the biggest subreddits. Like I think even the League of Legends subreddit is like the 37th most popular subreddit, right? So we're not actually like huge on Reddit, but the rules that are affecting us are rules that were originally made for the really large subreddits where people were abusing their positions or abusing their ability to manipulate the voting system to get to push their content to the front page. So in the one of the ways that Reddit tries to combat that is they say like, hey, there are like a couple rules. If you want to post your shit to Reddit, you have to be part of the community. That means that like I'm sure a rule we've all heard of is like you have to make 8 content posts for every 1 self-promotion post, right?
9 to 1, yeah.
Yeah, 9
to 1. Yeah,
to
shit
1.
like that. So basically what that's supposed to do in a perfect world is it makes it so that I don't go to Reddit and go, hey, watch my stream, post link and leave, and I just do that like once a week, like over and over and over again, and I never contribute to the community. Because Reddit would view somebody like that as, hey, you're just trying to like leech off the community for free advertising. You don't contribute to the Reddit community at all, like fuck you, you know? So like that's why that rule exists. Another rule that exists that gets really shady is, it's not a shady rule, but it looks for vote manipulation. Vote manipulation is a really big deal because of how the Reddit voting algorithm determines what shows up on the front page, right? For instance, like the first 10 upvotes in like the first like minute are worth as much as like 100 upvotes in 10 minutes. That's worth as much as 1,000 upvotes in an hour, right? The speed at which the upvotes come in, based on like when the article is posted, is really important. I don't have those numbers exactly correct, but you know, conceptually that's how it works.
The sooner the upvotes, obviously that's
yeah.
valuable,
So that means that well, you say obviously, but not everybody realizes that. Like, why is there a vote? Why is there something on the front page that has 100 upvotes and it's rank 2, and then there's something on the front page with 5,000 upvotes and it's rank 4? Well, it's because of the time at which it was posted when those upvotes were received. Yeah. So, for instance, if I wanted to push, I could probably if I go back to League of Legends and I were to abuse the voting thing, I could put together a Skype group of maybe 30 people, maybe not even 30 people, and I could push my content to the front page of a subreddit that has 500,000 eyes on it, you know, every day. Like, it's so much money to be made there by abusing the voting algorithms, but it's kind of disingenuous to the community because you're manipulating the system to get your content to the front page, and you're profiting a fuck ton off of essentially zero cost advertising, you know? So I understand that, like, the on-gamers and everything getting banned, it's really shitty, but on the other hand, like, you got to look at it from Reddit's perspective. It's a really difficult issue to tackle, and it's not just like well, people could do this. People have been doing it. Like, there have been moderators of subreddits that have been outed to have been like members of big companies or members of different websites that were like banning content from people that were like competitors to their industry and shit. Like, a lot of really weird, fucked up, like even in the funny picture subreddit, like I think it was meme some quick meme, I think, was a site where like the guy that like owned it or was affiliated with a moderator of all the subreddits, so they were banning like live meme or some shit. Like, really crazy shit like that has been going on with a lot of the different moderators. The United States government, a lot of people accuse the government of posting a lot of propaganda. You'll find a lot of posts that come up where it's like, oh, like, look at this heartwarming video of a veteran that comes home and meets his dog. And like, all of these are posted by like people who have been on Reddit for like one day and have never said a comment before in their life, shit like that. And people like, well, this is bullshit. Like, it's just the government like fucking with us, Or where there'll be like posts that are coming up and like people like, oh, like, look at this nasty shit I found on my food, or look at this awesome service I got. And they're from people with like no post history. And it's like, well, fuck, like basically what Reddit doesn't want is they don't want the platform to be transformed into like a giant corporate advertising thing, because then everything you see on the front page is just going to be determined by whoever has the most vote bots and whoever's abusing.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you have to make like global rules versus more of like something that needs to be editorialized by a human, and that's kind of what the mods and the administrators are there for, is to like make a little bit more of these kind of calls.
I think you're right, but I think my biggest issue with all of this is that they're all right to overlook all these rules when there's hardly any moderators and hardly any admins and hardly any subscribers to their channel. They let anything go. And then, so in other words, hello, come into our house, please abuse the crap out of it until we're so huge that we can then kick your asses out and still have lots of people on our site. So it feels a bit like that to me. I get it, it's really difficult and they have a really tough job to do, and I actually respect the mods. I think probably far more greatly than most people do, because because they're volunteers and they do this out of whatever they want to do it for, internet fame, or I don't know what they do it for. I have no idea why they do it, but they do genuinely they do a good job 99% of the time. So it's not about shitting on them, but it's frustrating for me to see content providers. I'm not talking about ESL right now. I'm talking about the content providers for esports shut out, having pretty much those are the guys that built these subreddits in part. I mean, we all build them because we're part of the community, but I wouldn't say Slasher hasn't contributed to the StarCraft 2 community, because he has. Now, if he wants to post one of his on Gamers articles, then I'm interested in that, right? So I don't see the problem.
I think that like the theoretical. The theoretical idea behind it is that if Slasher is making content that's good enough to get pushed onto Reddit and upvoted, then somebody should want to post it on their own without Slasher needing to do the self-promotion. I think that would be like the theoretical argument against it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I get that, but
also on the same note, it won't be upvoted if nobody wants to read it, right?
Sure.
So I don't know. Well, so
it's
the latest
also one of those things where, like, real fast, like, I understand that there are a lot of moderators and shit, but for me personally, I would rather just have most of this be automated. Sorry, I understand that there's like a lot of moderators and admins that could look through everything, but like when you start to get into shit like that, like we both know how communities work. Like, some article is going to get rejected, and then everybody's like, oh, well, that's not consistent with that, and then you're like, well, our reasoning for that was like, oh, there's fucking mod bias, like, this is bullshit, blah blah blah. Like, it's so much easier to just have a flat rule where like 9 posts for every 1 content, everybody fuck off. There are going to be some good people that might get screwed out of that, but it's so much easier to just do that and have the good people try to adhere to the system rather than like try to have moderators making personal calls like every which way.
But I don't think it was moderators anyway. I think it was actually Reddit admins anyway. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
transparency. transparency would be really good here, so that everyone knows where they stand. And if you break the rules, well, then you get fucked, right? And that's fair enough. But at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of good people get screwed, and they didn't actually do anything wrong.
I mean, it's been a group of y'all. So late breaking news. So OnGamer is not banned anymore. So Slasher just let me know. So they've been unbanned, which I think is a good thing. And I don't know, but so what do you think the whole Reddit thing speaks to? Do you think let's still talk about Team Liquid as an example. TeamLiquid.net, right? That was the place to go for StarCraft 2, 3 years ago, and maybe even longer. I don't even know exactly the time, right? But that was where we went every day. We hung out there every day. We watched our stream list. Yeah, I mean, we go there every day, but I'm talking that's all we went to, and we would see all our stream lists there and that sort of thing. We base everything off of that. And a lot of people still hang out there a lot, but I think at the very least it's equally on Reddit these days, because Reddit seems to be more the headline type.
I wouldn't say even close to equal. Team Liquid is definitely nowhere near the amount of driving
now that
traffic.
Now that Twitch has their listings. I mean, a lot of people rely heavily on the Twitch listings now too.
That's the thing that hurts too. You don't even go to Team Liquid for streams anymore, because now Twitch is the hub for viewers.
So my whole thing is that, I mean, is this the end? Is this the beginning of the end of community sites like that? Because a League of Legends right now, let's say Reddit just went away right now. Like if you're a League of Legends content producer, where do you actually list? I mean, where do you promote it? I don't even know where I would promote it if I had a League of Legends show. If r/League of Legends didn't exist.
You go to the TSM website or something like that.
Yeah, but there's a ton of websites, right, for League of Legends. Fire, and I mean, there's all.
Welcome to the beauty of content aggregation.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, does this say anything about community sites at all?
No, I say community. No, they still have their place because they're the ones actually producing the content. That's the point. Reddit doesn't produce any content; it just shares it. So you still need to have sites that actually, you need to actually produce some quality content, otherwise there's nowhere to go.
So we all have
there's no posts.
We all have YouTube channels. We all have Tumblrs. We all have our own blogs.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, I feel like community sites like TL, they're just linking from Reddit these days, and it's just one-time shot type of things. I mean, that's the feeling I get.
No.
Okay.
No.
Wait, what do you mean they're linking
There's
from?
tons of quality content on Team Liquid. There's tons of quality
Team
content.
Liquid's probably not a great example, but I feel like they're linking to there. It's on gamers. Let's talk about on gamers, okay? People don't hang out on gamers. I don't think the website so much.
No, but it's not that kind of site. It's a news and article based website. Team Liquid is a community and has been a community for a very long time. It's where people do go to hang out and talk about the stuff that they enjoy. And Reddit, the only thing Reddit has in common with that is that's also a place that people like to go and enjoy and talk to about. But if you want quality conversation, then you don't sit in Twitch chat during a tournament. You don't sit in a Reddit thread during a tournament. You go to the Team Liquid live thread and you get quality conversation in there. So
I don't know about that.
Wow.
Well, okay.
Really?
I'm just going on the basis of Twitch chat, Reddit, and then Team Liquid. It's a bit it's a bit more intelligent at times. But the point is that you asked me about community sites that have a place. Yeah, over Reddit every time, because they're the ones producing the quality content. I'm not seeing an expose on Sapinda sitting on Reddit right now where someone's written out a load of notes and a load of stuff. I'm seeing it on Esports Heaven. I'm not seeing a detailed history of Counter-Strike on Reddit. I'm seeing it on Thorin's piece on Gamers. So, I'm not seeing a detailed review of the next Pro League series or the next Fantasy League. I'm seeing it on Team Liquid. And I don't get any of that from Reddit. I get it from those sites. I might go there from Reddit because I use Reddit to aggregate my news stuff and find out what's cool. But overall, I still need the community sites.
Okay. Well,
everybody kind of becomes an extension of Reddit that way. It's really interesting. I think you could talk a long time about. There's so much money to be made in just content aggregation, and what you said is it's so funny, but it's so true. Content aggregation makes so much fucking money, but they don't actually make any original content. This is why I've always hated people I don't want to say I hate personally, but people like Ray William Johnson, or all of the listing sites on the fucking internet. Look at the top 27 different ways that you can shift your dick to the left, or the 14 different states that have the sickest people, just random shit like that. All these sites that just do content aggregation are so huge and so massive, and they make so much fucking money, but they don't actually produce any original content at all. It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right.
don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Reddit's a great place for finding stuff, and that's exactly what it's designed to do. But it's not there to produce content, no more than
Yeah.
Team Liquid's there to, send people around the internet to cool sites. So,
Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, why don't we take a quick break? We'll start doing some call-ins, and we'll do Reddit questions this week. I'm not lying about the Reddit questions this time around, so definitely be taken from there. But I do want to do the sub-only call-ins too. So subscribers, check your inbox, your emails, because I sent you kind of the instructions on how to call in too. And I think Harsum wanted to call in and talk about some of the maps too. So we might have one or two other call-ins. So we'll be right back, guys.